Welcome to another episode of Mastermind Bites. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Over the years, I've had the privilege to be in front of some of the most amazing people and just meet some of the most skilled individuals in the world and got to learn from them, got to hear their stories, and got to kind of find out what they did to become successful. And the reason why I'm doing this show is so that I could pass back some of those lessons learned and some of those stories so that we can all learn from them and kind of apply to our own businesses and our personal lives as well. Today, I'm very, very excited to be able to feature Mr. Paul Coffey. As an Edmonton Oilers fan, I was very thrilled to be able to meet him and got to talk to him and also got to really learn and hear some of the stories that he's shared and some of his stories to his successes and how he conducted himself and all that kind of stuff. I was actually very surprised that when I got to meet him, he took some more time to talk to us a little bit more and kind of shared a few stories. I actually had this little license plate for him to sign. And as he was looking through all the other signatures, he's like, "Hey, is that Wayne?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Gretzky's signature." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what we call a flyby." I'm like, "What exactly is that?" "Well, when we're signing a lot of autographs, we kind of have to do a quick little scribble, and that's Wayne's scribble." I'm like, at least somebody else recognizes that's the Wayne scribble, which is kind of nice. So it was kind of nice for him to share that story as well. Now, Paul Coffey is known as one of the best skaters in the NHL of all time. He's one of those people who's a champion. He's won 4 cups. He's won 3 Norris trophies, which is the best defenseman of the year. He has the record of scoring the most goals by a defenseman in one season, and that was 48 goals, which is absolutely incredible. He is a 14-time All-Star, and he is one of the best defensemen of all time. And it was just so much fun to watch him play and also to talk to him and hear his stories as well. He is also very famous for being one of those players who stuffed his foot into a skate that was 2 to 3 times smaller. And in this day and age, lots of people go, "Hey, I'm going to grow into my skates," or "I'm going to buy skates for my kids and I want them to grow into it." Well, his number one recommendation is no, you got to get skates that fit, because it does actually ruin the development of that kid's skating ability if they're wearing skates that are too big. Just imagine if you're running track with sneakers or shoes that are 2 or 3 sizes too big. And that's the reason why you should always get skates that fit. And for him, back in the day, skates were kind of weak, and if you want stiffness, he actually had to stuff his foot into a skate that was 2 to 3 sizes smaller. One of the stories he also shared was he was getting his foot into this one skate of his, and he goes, "Man, I can't get this in there. Can you help me out?" And he got the equipment manager to go in and kind of carve out an extra little bit of space where the toe cap is so he could fit his toe in there. And then one day the equipment manager goes, "Oops, I think I went too far," and actually went through the toe cap, and he goes, "Hey, no worries. You can actually see his white sock on the outside of the skate." So Paul Coffey actually grabbed a Sharpie and colored in his sock so you can't tell that it was his sock that was poking through the toe cap. So I thought that was kind of interesting too, which goes to show what he would do to go to lengths on achieving great success, to achieving the ability for him to actually succeed in, the ability to utilize his skill sets. And if it's has to do with him putting his foot into a skate that's 2 to 3 sizes too small and have his toe stick out, that's what he's going to do. But on top of that, there was many other lessons that I've got from him, lots of stories that he shared that I thought was very, very appropriate for us to grow as a person and also in our business successes as well. Number one is recognizing those people around you that got you to where you are today, that got you to the success that you have gotten, that you have achieved. And one of those, as much as he was surrounded by great Hall of Famers like Gretzky and Messier and Curry, he always recognized Charlie Huddy, which was his partner in crime when it comes to his defensive partner. And that's because Paul Coffey's skill set was the skating, was the scoring, was the offensive on-rush abilities. And therefore, in order for him to actually succeed in activating that kind of skill set, he needed somebody else to compensate for that offensive ability, and that is to have a great defensive partner. And that was Charlie Huddy. Charlie Huddy was the person that allowed him to go out and score those goals. Charlie Huddy was that stay-at-home presence that allowed Coffey to wheel and deal, to go on the offense, to go in on the rush. And without Charlie Huddy, then Paul Coffey would not be able to have the amount of success that he would have had throughout his career. So he's always given lots of credit to Charlie Huddy because he recognizes that without Huddy, he would not be able to achieve the success that he's got throughout his career. So recognizing those people around you is absolutely important because those are the people that gets you to where you are today. Number two is within a team environment, you have to put that ego aside. When he was on Team Canada, there was something like 7 to 8 Edmonton Oilers on that team. And the first thing that the coach did was come in and go, okay, we're not the Edmonton Oilers, we're not the Montreal Canadiens, we're not this team, we're not that team, we're Team Canada. And we have to bond together and we have to go out as one unit and play as one team. Now, the thing is, the Oilers at the time was the team that either you loved or the team that you hate and you wanted to beat all the time. So when you're putting all these people together and all these great players to represent Canada, you really have to put your ego aside. You really have to think about, hey, this is one team and we're going to work together and go and win. And when you're winning championships together, there's another great saying, and that is you win together now, but you walk together forever as a great friendship. And sure enough, after all those championships in Canada Cup and also those World Championships and also those Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cups, he and all those other players are still in great relationships. They have great friendships. And every time you see them come back for those reunions, you could tell they're having a lot of fun together. And anything successful, anything that you want to do great together, you're building those great relationships. You're building those great friendships that you will be walking together forever. No matter how long of a gap that is, when you meet together again, you reminisce, you come back with those memories, and you kind of have that whole friendship come back together. And you're going to be having a lot of fun. And you can always tell that the Oilers have lots of fun together when they're in those reunions, and also those Canada Cup teams, when they're back together again, you can tell they're having great fun because they've gone to battle together. And that's the same thing when it's in a business sense. If you're having a show together with somebody, or when you're having a business deal with somebody or a partnership with somebody, you know you're going to be going into the trenches together. You know you're going to be succeeding together. And when you do, that friendship, that relationship that's built within that those challenges and that battlefield, you will be able to have a great relationship coming out, and you will have that friendship forever. The third thing is learn from great players and elevate your game. If you want to become the best, if you want to become that champion, if you want to have that championship mindset, then you have to watch the players that you want to idolize and that you want to learn from, and just do everything that they do. What do they eat? How do they wake up in the morning? How do they work? Do they work hard? And the more hard work you put in, the more you get out. And he is somebody that, even to his caliber, even to his ability and at his prime, he was still working hard and harder and harder because he knew he has to elevate his game all the time. Somebody else is coming up and somebody else is going to be challenging him. On top of that, he was playing on a team with Gretzky and Messier and all these other Hall of Famers. So if you don't work hard and if you don't match their work ethic, then you're eventually going to be let go, or you're eventually going to be forgotten, because they don't want people in their team that doesn't work as hard as them. They don't want people on their team that doesn't elevate their game. So you need to elevate your own game, your own performance, so that you can be with all the other greats, so you can be with all the other champions. And that's what he absolutely has done. And he watched the greats, he watched what they do, and he elevated his own game so he could stay with that level and also grow with that level every single time. So learn from the greats is the third thing I thought was very, very important for us to learn and implement as well. The fourth thing I want to share is how he did not really care about his individual records. And this is very, very common with lots of great individuals, great athletes, is they really don't care about what their stats are. And they really don't care what their individual achievements are. They want to win as a team. And one of the stories was that it took Wayne Gretzky to come back to him and go, hey, do you know what you're about to achieve if we actually put into it? For him to actually find out that he was very close to a record. And there was a game where at the second period, Wayne Gretzky walked into coach's office, came back out and walked up to Paul Coffey and goes, so how many points do you have? And Coffey's like, well, I'm 2-3. I got 2 goals, 3 assists. So I'm at 5 points right now. And this is during the second intermission. And Gretzky goes, well, do you know what the record is? And Coffey's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. And he goes, well, it's 8 points. So let's go get that for you. So throughout the rest of the third period, he kept on trying to set him up and trying to keep on getting him to score goals and get more assists. And sure enough, he broke the record, got 8 points and got the record for most points in the game. And that's something that again, elevating your game when somebody else is vouching for you, when somebody else wants to support you, but also like he didn't even care about that individual success until somebody else brought it up. So again, it's not you all the time. It's a team environment, but still, when somebody recognizes what you're able to do, elevate your game, elevate your performance, which is exactly the same when it comes to business, when it comes to self-development. When your coach comes up to you going, you know what, you can write that book, you can go on stage and speak, you can do this, you could get that other property, then you elevate your game to match that support that other people are giving you. The fifth thing I want to add is you have to enjoy what you do. And when you do, you want to pass on that enjoyment. You want to pass on your knowledge, your wisdom, your skill sets to those that are coming up, because you can't be doing it forever. And as great as Paul Coffey was at the time of his prime, eventually he got older, and all he wanted to do is pass on those techniques, pass on that skill set, that wisdom, those tips and tricks to the newer generation, so that they too can elevate their game. So when it comes to coaching, that's what I think too. When I coach, I want to coach my clients to be able to be the best they can be, so that they can eventually surpass me. But I also want to keep on growing, and that's what my coaches want to do. So they always coach me so that I can get to a point where I can surpass them. So there's always that passing on to the next person, passing on to the next person to be able to elevate their game, to elevate their performance. And that's something Paul Coffey has done when he's coaching new kids, when he's coaching new players into elevating their game. So those are 5 things that I thought was very important when it comes to putting into our own business and also our own personal development that I've learned from Mr. Paul Coffey. And I'll reiterate them again. Number 1 is understanding that the people around you is how you got to where you are today. Number 2, when you're in that team environment, you have to put that ego aside. Number 3, you have to elevate your game when you're surrounded with greatness, and you want to learn from great people. And number 4 is sometimes it doesn't matter what your individual achievements are, just go out there, win for a team. But when somebody recognizes what you can do, elevate your game to match that support. And number 5, pass down that wisdom, that knowledge that you have to all those other people, so you could help them achieve their success. So that is Paul Coffey, the lessons learned I got from him. It was absolutely phenomenal to meet him and talk to him and learn from him. And if you like this episode, please go back and watch some of the other Mastermind Bites where we feature some other amazing masters of their skill sets. And if you like this one, we have a lot of other shows, the Peak Potential Success Show, the Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More Work Less, and also the Make More Mind Bites as well, that goes up every single week. And thank you very much for your support. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I can't wait to hear your comments. So until next time, today is the day to unlock your potential. We'll see you later.